Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I really want to appreciate the report of the Auditor General, as mentioned by you, that now covers the financial and also value for money audit. However, Right Honourable Speaker, I have an issue. Currently, the sectoral committees are sitting, and therefore the standing committee's business has been suspended. Formally, the Speaker communicated and said the standing committees should not meet. My challenge, Right Honourable Speaker, is that we will start considering these reports of the Auditor General when we are done with these budget framework papers and even the ministerial policy statements. And then you have just hardly 2 months. Right Honourable Speaker, I have raised this before. The Constitution says the Auditor General's reports will be considered by this Parliament, debated, and appropriate action taken. Now, you find that I have said this. It is wrong for us to adopt Auditor General's reports without scrutiny, because you have even mentioned it, that what is in the report is sometimes not what is on the ground. Therefore, there is a need for us to scrutinize those reports, interface with the accounting officers. Now, when we just adopt reports here without going through the committees, scrutinizing them, then we miss a point, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I am requesting. The Constitution says we must consider them within 6 months. Now, if within 6 months, the committee is only given 2 months, 3 months to handle these reports, and you have about 400 or so entities, how can we really effectively handle these reports and conclude business? So, Right Honourable Speaker, it has been done before. In previous parliaments, you were here. We only adopted the Auditor General's reports at the end of the term of Parliament, not within the years, to allow the committee handle certain businesses, like now Park Central, where I belong. We had issues that we were handling, but we were stopped from proceeding with the business. Now that matter remains pending, especially the projects, which we could not handle and present reports here. So, Right Honourable Speaker, we must be flexible, because the whole issue is accountability, not merely receiving reports for the sake of it and a ritual that this House adopts. These reports must be scrutinized. So this, Right Honourable Speaker, is what I wanted to state, and I hope that as presiding officers you will guide us and give us time to handle these reports.
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, one, indeed we needed you, all of you, to be in your sector committees handling the BFP. Okay? And I think you've more or less, committees have more or less concluded with the BFP. Otherwise, we would be having a situation where we don't even have space, sitting space where to meet, and even quorum, because you find we are in the budgeting process, but a member is running on accountability question, okay? And so we said, no, first concentrate on the BFP. You have concluded. Next week, either Thursday or next week, we shall conclude it. But now the budget committee has already started receiving committee reports for the BFP. Now, on the issue of time, I think it is something we shall go back and we discuss administratively. But let me first allow Honourable Ssemujju, if he wanted to guide on the same.
No, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to provide some information.
Yeah.
The mistake we have been making is to treat the Auditor General's report as raw material for committees to do work. In other jurisdictions, if you go to Kenya, and I have visited because I chaired an accountability committee before, the report of the Auditor General is adopted as it comes. And then committees request to do further investigation in specific areas. I want to ask you, Mr. Speaker, for Parliament to adopt a similar approach, so that you don't use the report of the Auditor General, a lot of work done by technical people, sometimes even hires private firms, and then you use it as raw material. In other countries, they just adopt and then request to do investigations in specific areas, and then they can do them forever. That's the information, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to give.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, I don't want us to start a debate here. We usually improve on such a processes by having meetings with committees of chairpersons. And also we can discuss it in the business committee meeting in terms of strategy. We come up together with a strategy. That is acceptable. But most importantly, Honorable Sarah, the argument was, like Honorable Ssemujju has said, government will not start taking actions on the recommendations of the Auditor General before you adopt. So now, if you wait for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, how will you process a Treasury memoranda, which is an action taken report? So now, I think it is operational. You can, out of a committee, make subcommittees. You share, and you say this side you get projects, this side you get these categories of MDAs and all that, and in the end you adopt as a committee. You come here, we debate. But that one we shall be calling a meeting so that we agree on a strategy that can help us work as a team. Yes, final.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to comment on one issue that you commented about, the issue of this year being a period of election. We thank you for the wishes, but we need to be empowered to account to our people in relation to key issues we raised on the floor of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, as people from West Nile, we have the issue of the non-compensation of our people as a result of the LRA war, the non-expansion of a Jumani hospital and others. If we don't have these responses, whether in affirmative or not, it makes it very difficult for us to account to our people. So my prayer is, let government respond to the issues that members have raised so that we have a package to share with our people. Thank you so much.
On land compensation, I remember Attorney General we were working out something. Do you have any update?
Thank you, Right Honourable. I appreciate the concern raised by my sister, Honourable Babiku. Right Honourable Speaker, originally the government committed itself to do compensation in 3 sub-regions, Acholi, Lango, and Teso. When the exercise started, there was pressure from other sub-regions. West Nile, Bugisu, Bukedi, Busoga, and parts of Ruenzori which were hit by the ADF. This matter was presented to Cabinet, and a decision was taken that we wait, we first see how the other areas are being compensated, because we would be overwhelmed and the government may not be able to appropriately carry that burden. So the idea was that we first do substantial work on the 3 sub-regions, then we would seek guidance from Cabinet and be directed.
Thank you. Honourable colleagues, you have power to empower yourselves through budgeting process and sector committees. When you are processing municipal policy statements, and this is where we have to be assertive and we raise these issues. And I'm sure Government Chief Whip has also taken note. It's in a wide perspective, Honourable. Huh? Yes, Honourable Ababiku. Clarification? Also clarification. Let me start with the one who has raided the microphone without my permission. Though he has not spoken.
I did not switch it on, Right Honourable. Right Honourable, when we had a sitting in Guru, we had a report from the Government Assurance and Implementation Committee on the compensation. That report was read and it was not adopted. We are waiting for that opportunity so that the Parliament will fully debate that report and we come up with a resolution. And in that report, the issues of West Nile, they are included.
Thank you.
The other parts of the country, they are waiting for our report and that resolution. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Clerk, put it on order.
Issue of compensation, the Ministry for Justice appeared before our committee, legal and parliamentary. And as the learned Attorney General said, actually the focus now is on 3 areas, places, Acholi, Lango and Teso. And they did request, I think it is 100 billion for that process. So as a matter of fact, West Nile is not there. That's from Cabinet. And even us from other areas like Busoga, where Lakwena terrorized us, are not there. So, Right Honourable Speaker, as a matter of fact, the focus remains very limited to those areas, and from the budget framework paper of the Ministry of Justice, that is very clear. That's the clarification, Right Honourable Speaker, I wanted to give.
Speaker, in your communication, you have mentioned that this is an election year. And rightly so, because the election is a process. It's not an event, as some people like to think of it, the day of casting the ballot. It's a process which happens beginning with the update of the voters register, all the way to all the other activities, nominations, campaigns, etc., and then eventually voting. Right Honourable Speaker, yesterday, update of the voters register commenced, but with numerous challenges with this very critical exercise, because this is an exercise that is meant to see new voters coming on board, people trying to be sure their details are on the voters register, those that want to make transfers, and so on and so forth. In many places, and I'm sure some colleagues here can attest, many places the process did not commence yesterday. And we are trying to understand why. Did this just fall on the Electoral Commission and they woke up and realized they need to start this process? Their officials were not in many places, including my constituency, in many parts of my constituency, which is just a few kilometers from Kampala. I'm now thinking about colleagues who come from far-flung places. Honourable Speaker, there has not been adequate awareness about this process by the Electoral Commission. Yesterday I was dumbfounded to watch on the news a number of LC1 chairpersons, LC2 parish chairpersons who did not know about this exercise. And yet the Electoral Commission is meant to do this in tandem with these local officials. In a couple of places, you find they have 1 computer per sub-county. And many of these computers are even faulty. They are not working as should be. Honourable Speaker, I like to think this is a very critical part of the election process. Because like I've said, the election is a process. Would like government to help us understand, are they taking this process seriously? Now that it did not even commence in time as should have, will they extend the time? Because we were actually concerned, thinking the 30 days are not even adequate. Now, it did not even start in time. 20 days, I beg your pardon. The 20 days, in our view, were not adequate, but now the process did not even start in time. Will the time be extended? But the other concern that I do have, Right Honourable Speaker, the process has been made extremely cumbersome, especially for the new voters. They have to get recommendation from GISO, DISO, HISO, FISO, I don't know what. It would make sense for the LC1 chairpersons. That's okay, that's understandable. They need to know the people in their areas and so on. But why all these layers? Somebody has got a national ID. They are known by their LC1 chairpersons. Why do they have to go and look for a GISO, then look for a DISO, they'll go to their home or their office, the place is locked, and all of this making the process problematic. Honourable Speaker, I would like government to address these issues and to help us understand. Can the process be made a little bit longer and better awareness? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, today I received 6 members. The first was Honourable Naruima Esther. So it was one of the matters I had put here to be considered under matters of national importance. 6 members on that same question. Attorney General, come respond, and then I see how best I can guide on this critical question.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the question as raised, but the question is quite wide and I do not want to answer it off head. I'm requesting that you give me time. I liaise with the Electoral Commission so that I can formally answer that question, Parliament.
Thank you. So, honourable colleagues, if a colleague says he doesn't have a satisfactory answer, okay, you want him to do what? You want to give you a half-baked answer? So, but, please, honourable colleagues, let us have a statement from government tomorrow. Is it late, Attorney General?
Right Honourable, I need to get in touch with the Electoral Commission so that I can get a
tomorrow
response.
Parliament starts at 2.
But Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes, let's listen to the Attorney General.
Right Honourable Speaker, I need to get in touch with the Electoral Commission so that I get information which I relay to Parliament. I'm requesting that I do that on Thursday, next week.
No. The Attorney General.
Thursday.
Okay, honourable colleagues, this exercise is ongoing, and you see, Government Chief Whip, I had guided ministers that for such exercises, Parliament is a big platform on which you gain prime time, wide coverage. So when you bring a statement here, we give you free coverage and you inform the nation. You're addressing the nation when you're here. So I would do, since the attorney,
I'm requesting for Thursday, Right Honourable.
Honourable colleagues, on Thursday at 2 p.m. we shall receive a statement from the Attorney General on the same, listen, and I will allow a debate of that statement for 1 hour. Okay? So that all your issues are covered. And Honourable Minister, Honourable Attorney General, I'm sure with that statement and even technical officers coming to support you, you'll be able to answer all the questions. Okay? Thank you.